Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with HPFirearms, and I just picked a whole mess load of tomatoes, and I'm sure some people out there are wondering, when you grow a garden, you grow a bunch of tomatoes, what do you do with so many of them? Because they come in so quick, and I don't know about you, but I can only eat so many tomatoes before I turn into a tomato. So what can we do with tomatoes to store them for our preps or for long-term food storage? What can we do to use them? Well, there's several things that you can do. You can make spaghetti sauce out of them. You can make tomato paste, tomato sauce. You can make salsa. I made some salsa a few weeks ago with some. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can make some chow chow, all kinds of stuff. But you know what I like to do best is they sell canned tomatoes at the store, and they're whole tomatoes or quartered or half or whatever, and you can use those tomatoes to make spaghetti sauce or chili or tomato paste or salsa or stuff like that, or you can just plain cook with them. You can dice them up and put them in some pasta with some chicken Alfredo or something like that. There's a lot of things that you can do with a whole tomato, but if I cut all these tomatoes up and ground them down into tomato sauce, there's only a couple of things I can do with tomato sauce. So I like to can them in jars, and that way we have whole tomatoes or half tomatoes that we can cut up and we can use for whatever we want down the road. So it's very simple to do. It's a lot easier than you think it would be. There's a little bit more process to it than what you might think, but overall it's pretty easy to do. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Alright guys, so what I've done here is I've got I've taken out the big tomatoes. Most of the tomatoes here that I have left are the early girl tomatoes. They're a smaller tomato. I have them rinsed off here just with cold water. In our pot here, we have some hot water boiling right now. It's about half full of water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop these tomatoes into our boiling water. Alright, and we're going to blanch them. So just put as many in there as that you can get that are completely covered with water. So that's about all for that batch. Alright, so you're going to let it blanch for about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. I know that's a wide time frame there to go by, but what you're looking for is you're looking for the skins to crack. See how those skins have cracked there? That's what we're looking for. So we want all of the skins to crack on our tomatoes. So like I said, about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, you should be good. Alright, so once your skins crack, you're going to immediately take them to the sink. And I've got a colander or a strainer in here, colander or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to just dump all my tomatoes into that colander. And I want to immediately shock them with cold water. Now, I'm doing this on the budget, right? So, if you have a bunch of big pots and you have a wire net catcher thing that you can pull it in and out with so that they don't fall out, then that works great too. But in my case, I don't have that, so I'm doing it on a budget just by using a colander. And I can shock these tomatoes with the cold water as soon as they come out. And I'm just going to continue to let that cold water run on it. Alright, so now what I want to do is I'm going to take one of my tomatoes. And I need to cut the core out. So I'm going to take a knife, good sharp knife, and I'm just going to cut around the core in at an angle. until the core comes right out, just like that. Now the peel will pull right off of the tomato. Just like that. Alright, and then we'll go ahead and cut it into quarters into our big pot. And then just continue the process. Okay guys, so once you're done with all your tomatoes, you get them all cut up, you put them in a pot. You're going to cover the tomatoes, just barely cover the top of the tomatoes with water. Alright? Put it on the eye, let it heat up, bring it to a light boil, a gentle boil, and let it boil for about 5 minutes or so. Alright? So that's pretty much done. It's simmering right now. So what we're going to do is go ahead and prep our jars for the tomatoes. And keep in mind, guys, I'm using pint jars this time. You can use quarts, and just check back with your canning book to do the quarts. It's not a whole lot of difference. You're just obviously doubling your ingredients or whatever. So I'm just going to pull some of these jars out here, and then we'll get to packing the jars. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is add some lemon juice to our jars. And you're going to be, for the pints, we're going to be adding a tablespoon of lemon juice per pint. Got our tomatoes here. Now, just like anything, what I want to do is ladle out the tomatoes with a slotted spoon, and then go back and add the juice once I pack the jar with the tomatoes. Alright, so I've got my jars packed with the tomatoes. So what I want to do now for pints, I want to add 1 teaspoon of salt to each pint. And then I'll go back and top it off with the tomato juice. And I'm going to leave about a ½ inch of headspace. So I'm not going to worry about getting it perfect yet, because I still got to cut out the air bubbles, and some of the juice will probably settle. Ram off here. guys, so all of our tomatoes are in our canner now. We ended up with 6 pints. So a little bit less than what I expected, but that's okay. 6 pints is 6 pints. So anyway, we're going to let it come to a boil, a nice steady boil, and then we'll set our timer for 40 minutes and we'll process them for 40 minutes. If you were doing pints, it'd be, or quarts, it'd be 45 minutes, but for pints, we're going to do 40. So be back with you in 40 minutes. Alright guys, so there's our 6 pints of canned tomatoes all finished up now. Remember, they processed for 40 minutes, and now they're good and they'll start to seal here in a little while. And they're canned in their own juice mixed with water. So you can use these tomatoes for pretty much anything. You can pour the whole contents into a big pot of chili. Or you can drain the water off, run them through a saucer and make spaghetti sauce or tomato paste or whatever. Or you could drain the water off and dice them up and use them in salsa. So there's a lot of uses for it in this format, and that's why I like canning most of my tomatoes like this. It gives me more options to use them, and it doesn't limit me to a certain thing. Like I said, I made some salsa the other day with some of them, but I like having them in this format to use for whatever I want. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, got something out of it. If you have any questions or comments about it, leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, and also go ahead and subscribe for all kinds of canning videos and prepping videos and gunsmithing and everything. So I've got a little bit of everything on my channel, so go ahead and subscribe, and until next time, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. See you guys later.